going on? Hope everybody's doing well. How is everybody in the Wired fan? On Wednesday night, 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Everybody's doing well. Welcome back, first and foremost. Welcome back from a long-needed vacation. Hey, we took a little break. Now we're back. We're back out. All right? So those of you that are wondering where that was, where Wired's at, good Lord, I haven't seen that really. Guess what? I'm back. Hope y'all are doing well. We are chilling in the shop tonight, and we've got some good stuff to talk about. We're going to talk a little bit about sonar crappie fishing. Let's see. Audio not good. You guys audio bad? Somebody talk to me. Let's see. Hold up. Let's look. Let's do this. Hold up. How about that? That ain't better? Now we got it. You guys good on the audio? Talk to me. Talk to me. Crappie Kev, what's going on? Todd Pell, hello, hello. From my recently new home in Talbot, Tennessee. Congratulations, Cherokee Lake. Congratulations on the new home, Todd. Raymond Snell, let's go. Good evening and welcome back. What's going on, Raymond? From Oklahoma. Ron Mayo, what's going on? David Mayer, hello, hello. Crappie Kev. Joel Nash in the house. Joel's telling me fix my audio. Hey, we got to get everything going again. We got to get back into the swing of it. You know what I'm saying? Roadhouse, what's going on? Donathan Brown from the North City. Hello, hello. All right, much better, better. Yes, thumbs up for Mr. Nash. What's going on? For some reason, I don't know, my Bluetooth was, my AirPods were still connected for some reason, and my AirPods laying over there on the other side of the shop. So, what up, Matt? Old school. That's what I'm talking about. Old school Zenus. What's going on, guys? We are back at it. Paul Gwynn, hello, hello. Hey, Paul, I need to get with you. I got you some boards ready, I do believe. Some boards for you. Back for more crappie talk. Let her rip, Matt. Robbinsville, North Carolina, watching. What's going on, Barry? Hope you guys are doing well, Sounds like you are. We're buying new houses and fishing and ready to talk crappie. And, hey, I'm here. I'm ready to rock and roll. So, let's talk a little bit about it. All right. So let's see. Over the last, couple months, 2 months or so since we've had a live, it's been quite a while. I've had some interesting stuff take place, some interesting things go down. Guide trips have actually been up this year. It's surprised me a ton. The guide trips, Wired for Crappie guide service has been so busy. Normally this summertime period kind of slows down a little bit because everybody's like, it's hot. Good Lord, not anymore. They are rocking and rolling, and I appreciate it. And I thank you guys for all the comments. I see all the comments on Facebook, social media, and everywhere else. All these people that recommend Wired for Crappie, and I appreciate you guys very much. Thank you for everybody that does that. And, hey, it's been a great year, and looking forward to another great year and more great times getting out there and fishing. Let's talk about some things that have changed kind of with East Tennessee Crappie Club. The East Tennessee Crappie Club is no more. Okay, it went bye-bye. Not really. But the name East Tennessee Crappie Club kind of went bye-bye. All right, so the reason for that, let me explain why East Tennessee Crappie Club now flies under the flag East Tennessee Crappie Tournament Trail. So East Tennessee Crappie Tournament Trail was born out of East Tennessee Crappie Club. And the reason being is because a lot of you guys and a lot of people that reached out to me were saying, hey, I didn't know this crappie club was a tournament trail. I didn't realize that these were tournaments, and that I thought it was just a club of guys that got together and went crappie fishing. And it's like, no, I mean, this is a tournament trail. It is a group of guys that does get together and fish, but we're a tournament trail too. I mean, now, if any of you guys have ever been to a tournament or ever seen East Tennessee Crappie Club or know anything about the club, it is a group of guys that is, there's a lot of good fishermen. and that just like to get together and go fish, have fun, and help each other learn and be more successful on the water. So, uh, new logo for the club, which I will show you guys here in just a little bit. Okay, new logo for East Tennessee Crappie Tournament Trail. That is flying this year. Already changed on Facebook. So if you're on the East Tennessee Crappie Club page on Facebook, it is now East Tennessee Crappie Tournament Trail, and you've probably seen the new logo already. But a lot of cool things coming this year with that. We're going to actually be uh, going live at the weigh-ins. You guys will be able to see those live weigh-ins here on Wired for Crappie. Also on Facebook at the East Tennessee Crappie Tournament Trail page, the Wired for Crappie page. And like I said, here on YouTube, we'll be doing live weigh-ins. Okay. We'll be shouting out some sponsorship. We'll be giving away some free stuff. And you guys will be able to participate. If you can't come to the events, you'll be able to participate in the event by watching it live on a social media platform, right? So it's going to be really cool. A lot of recognition for the anglers, a lot of recognition for the sponsors, a lot of recognition, just and a way for you guys to kind of follow along, feel like you're part of the event, right? So let's see who we got here. Tom A from Pennsylvania. Long time no see, Matt. Hope all is well. Yeah, buddy, it is. I hope all is well with you. We're full swing baseball now. Okay. We're full swing baseball back into fall ball. Took a little break in between spring and fall. So I got my son Brantley, which you guys have seen a million times, who is an avid outdoorsman. He plays baseball. I coach his baseball team, and we're back at baseball again. So still staying busy in the shop at Wired Marine Electronics. It seems like getting more phone calls there. Thank you again for everybody for that. But the shop has stayed busy. The guide service stayed busy. And we're going to get back busy on YouTube and the lives. It's a lot of fun. So let's talk a little bit. So we talked about East Tennessee Crappie Club and East Tennessee Crappie Tournament Trail. I got to remind myself to quit saying Crappie Club. East Tennessee Crappie Tournament Trail. We talked about that. Really looking forward to that. It's going to be a lot of fun, a lot of cool things. We're going to reach a lot more people. That's what it's about, is getting out there, reaching a lot of people, and driving that tournament trail, driving the success within that tournament trail, and bringing more people into the fold, more crappie anglers, teaching more people, getting people to more sufficient with catching crappie, and just enjoying their time on the water. That's what it's all about. That's why this channel's here. That's why that club got started, and now it's tournament trail. That's why we're here doing what we do, okay, or doing what I do. I always say we, but you guys are with me, right? So um looking forward to that. It's going to be a blast. um you know the season kicks off September. Okay, September through May. Going to be a good time. Potentially looking at fishing maybe outside of East Tennessee some here this season. Maybe picking up a tournament here or there outside of East Tennessee. We'll see what happens with that, whether that's going to come to fruition or not. I don't know. You guys know my feelings on that one. So, um, guide trips. Let's talk about guide trips. Let's talk about lakes. Let's talk about summer crappie fishing. Okay. Um, you know, Summer crappie fishing, honestly, guys, gets overcomplicated way too often. Okay. So, one, summer crappie fishing. Any lake that has a thermocline in it should be the easiest daggum lake for you guys to fish that there is. I mean, it's pure simplicity at that point. Okay. Summer. Think about this. Okay. Summer. What do you have condition wise? You got hot, hot, and hot, right? You got hot. It's hot. It don't matter where you're at. It's hot. So, unless you're way up north, I guess it doesn't get real hot up up far north, but it still gets warm, right? It's the warmest water that your fish are ever going to see. Okay. So if you are on a lake like we have here in East Tennessee and you have a thermocline, okay, if you're on the lake and you're following and you're looking in the creeks and you're looking around and you're trying to figure out where the fish are, okay, it's hot. It's hot and it's hot. If you see a thermocline at 25 feet, you know those fish aren't going to be deeper than 25 feet. Stop wasting your time in more than 25 feet of water. Now There's an exception to that rule. The exception to that rule is going to be, okay, if your structure that says it's in 30 feet of water, but it comes up to 15 feet, because those fish can there then get above that thermocline. Okay. So if you're looking in those depths, finding structure that's above that thermocline, they're going to be, if you got a thermocline, let's say that thermocline's at 25 feet, they're going to be somewhere between 25 and 20 in most cases. Very active feeding fish may sit higher on a brush pile. If the brush pile comes up to 15, they may sit at 15 on top of the brush pile, or stick or tree or stump or whatever it is you're fishing. Okay. But if you find that structure in that thermocline area, right above the thermocline, 5 to 8 feet, within 5 to 8 feet of that thermocline line on your screen, and on your screen, it's going to look just like a just a hazy area on the bottom of your screen. Okay, let's just imagine that this is our graph in our boat. Down at the bottom of it, there's just this haze that comes through. Okay, and it almost looks like prop wash. If you know what prop wash looks like. Um, what's up, asleep? Happy Wednesday, buddy. Glad you're with us. Um, Again, that thermocline, if you find that thermocline, that is summer fishing simplicity. Okay. Stay above that thermocline. Find those structures, fish those structures that you know are above that thermocline. Okay. Though that's where the fish are going to be. That's where you're going to locate those fish. Anywhere from halfway back in the creeks to out in the main lake. You'll find a lot of stuff. Don't ignore the main lake. Don't ignore the creeks. There's fish in the creeks. Okay. They didn't all flush back out. They don't all leave the creeks in the summer. Contrary to popular belief, they don't just leave. There's still fish in the creeks. Now, they'll be in the channels or around the channels of those creeks. They won't necessarily be up in that 12 foot of water they spawned in, or 10 foot, or 5 foot, or whatever they spawn in your area. But they're still going to be there, okay? And they're going to look for that thermocline. They're going to be above that thermocline. That's how summer fish set up. Now, Johnny Coots, what's up? Another thing about um, summer fish, okay? Another thing about summer crappie is they will school up. Summer crappie will tend to school up in the summer. And when you find those fish, you can typically catch a bunch of fish. Okay. Um, so, guide trips recently, we fished anywhere from 15 foot to 25 foot. Most of the time, most of our fish have been coming out of 15 to 18 foot. The best summer lake in East Tennessee, hands down, no doubt, no argument. I don't care who you are, what your name is. If you just want to go catch a bunch of fish and have fun, okay, the best summer lake is hands down Tellico. There is no better summer lake. That's it. That's where it's at. Have fun, go catch fish, have a ball. Okay. Um, we have absolutely slayed fish. A lot of the guide trips that I've taken, I took, like last weekend, I took two 15-year-olds. That one of them knew how to fish. The other one, not so much. Tried, did very well, no problems at all. But we slip floated. Okay, slip floated minnows. Jimmy Pratt, what's up? Hello, hello, Jimmy Pratt. Jimmy Pratt in the house. Um, we slip floated minnows. Okay, over brush, and absolutely just caught fish after fish after fish after fish after fish. I mean, we pulled up on one pile, probably sat there for an hour and caught fish the entire time we sat there. Never left it. I mean, just caught them one after the other after the other. And as a matter of fact, saw a gentleman in the creek um, that we were sitting in. He came up and said hello. He recognized me, said hi, and said he watched the channel, loved what we did, and he said I've been looking for fish all day, hadn't found any. And I said, how have you not found any? And he said, well, have you found any? And I said, well, yeah, I sit here for 30 more seconds. About that time they pulled one in, and they just kept catching fish. You know, um, about every cast, really. So a lot of fun, a lot of fish caught, and it's a great time of year. It really is. It's one of my favorite time of the years to fish. Years, one of my favorite times of the year to fish. Uh, but hands down, short sleeves. Uh, well, I say short sleeves. We're going to talk about that here in just a minute. Okay. Um, but just comfortable fishing. You're not hot. You're not burning up. Um, just comfortable fishing first thing in the morning, and you're not freezing to death. Now, midday, mid afternoon, you'll slap burn up. You'll sweat to death. But first thing in the morning till 10, 11 o'clock, it's not bad. And you get out there, you don't have to bundle up like an Eskimo. It's just so nice. Okay. Slip floating minnow over brush, just a great way to catch them in the summer. Everybody asks how you keep your minnows alive. It's pretty simple. Get you a good aerator, get you a good bubbler. And, guys, one thing I'll mention on minnows, probably one of the biggest things when minnow fishing, especially in the summer. Okay. The best tip of the night. Let me give it to you right now. When you pick your minnows up from the bait shop, pick them up the night before you go fishing, okay? Or the afternoon before you go fishing. Or if you're going to fish that afternoon, pick them up early in the morning, okay? Why do I say that? Well, you need to bring them home, put them in your boat, open your minnow bucket up, put your aerator in them, and let that water acclimate to the air temperature, okay? Let that water acclimate to air temp. Why? Okay. Well, let me tell you why. Because a lot of bait shops, most all bait shops, cool their mineral water. Why do they cool their mineral water? Well, it's easy. They cool their mineral water because cold water holds more oxygen. So if they keep those minnows cool, those minnows will last longer in their tank. Okay. If the minnows last longer, they have more of an opportunity to sell those minnows. So if you go to the bait shop 10 minutes before you go to the lake and you start dropping minnows in from 70-degree water at the bait shop to 88-degree water at the lake, you're going to stunt those minnows and they're going to die. You're going to shock them and they're gone. Okay. So my biggest tip for you summer fishing with a minnow and a slip float is buy those minnows early. Let that minnow water acclimate to temperature. Okay. Now, I do put a little bait, keep alive, or please release me, or better bait, or something like that. I do put a little bit of additive in my bait water. Okay, and I do, like I said, keep a good aerator on them and let it just run constant. Okay, that will be your saving grace when you're live bait fishing in the summer. Okay. Uh, Jimmy said every time I run my hook through my stump bugs, they die. Yeah. Well, they're already dead when you run a hook through them, Jimmy. I hate to tell you that, but they're not alive. As good as they are, those baits are about as good as they come, but they're not alive, buddy. I know you would think that that's a live minnow. As many fish as they catch, you would think they're live minnows, but they're not. All right, so that's my summer fishing tips for you. Don't ignore those brush piles that you caught them on post spawn. Don't ignore that brush or those areas out on the main lake. Look for humps. Look for underwater points, islands, things of that nature on the main lake where you get some shallower depths. Okay, if you got 40, 50, 60 foot of water out in the main channel, they're not going to be there. It's going to be below your thermocline. If they're running a lot of current in the lake, okay, let's say they're running a lot of current dam to dam, you may find some fish out in that main river deeper because there's not really a thermocline sets up in moving water, okay? Not as bad. I mean, it's the water that doesn't move a lot that sets up a thermocline. So, um, those moving water areas, those rivers, if you're fishing rivers, you're not really going to see much of a thermocline, okay? But you will in some of the tributaries and bays and things like that. But yeah, don't ignore those areas and points, like I said, humps, underwater humps, underwater ponds. Ponds are a great place. If you've got submerged ponds, old ponds that, they flooded our reservoirs. We have some ponds in areas. We've got pond dams. We got different things on uh, those ponds that will hold fish. Okay, old pond dams. I've caught so many crappie off old pond dams, especially this time of year. So, don't ignore all those different areas and just move until you find those fish. You will find active fish in the summer. Fish tend to stay active for the most part in the summer. So they're looking to feed and they're hungry. Okay. So let's see what else. What else we have tonight? We're going to talk about one thing that didn't really used to be important to me. Okay. But I have changed, so my perspective has changed a little bit with it, to be honest with you. Well, before we do that, because I'm going to have to stand up to show you that, so let's talk about one other thing before we go to that conversation. The boat, my boat has changed a little bit. So if you're out there on the water looking for me, it's my boat isn't the same. Okay, so if you're out there looking for wired, you might not see me. Everybody knows I love my boat. My boat's name is Margie, in case anybody's wondering. Margie's a redhead. Margie has been my companion for many years now, and I love her to death. She's a 96 Ranger 690 VS, and if Ranger called me today and said, what boat should we bring back, I would say the 690 VS, the Deep V multi-species boat. The Fisherman is the absolute best boat, in my opinion, that was ever built by Ranger. And I have a 96 because that was a Forest Wood boat. And if you guys know Ranger and know Forest Wood, you know the Forest Wood models were built to last, and they just last. So, anyway, uh, trying to get as much life out of Margie as we can. Everybody's probably wondering, did he get a new boat? No, I didn't get a new boat. Okay. But trying to get as much life out of Margie as we can, and trying to do the best we can for our sponsors, do the best we can for Wired, really spread the word, get the word out as far as Wired for Crappie. And shut up, Joel. There's a story behind that, Joel. I mean, everybody that Joel's commenting here. We'll get to that one in a minute. But trying to prolong her life as long as we can. So, without further ado, because Joel's got me all thrown off now. Oh, let me see. Let me find my chair. Let me find my rolling chair here. All right. Without further ado, if you guys are looking for me on the lake, you guys won't have a hard time finding me. So there is Margie in all her greatness. Okay, with her new wrap, guys. That's got all our sponsors on it. That's got Tri-County Marine, Stowaway Mounts, Fishing Specialties, Bonehead Tackle, ACC. Obviously, the Wired for Crappie logo right there. All right, and hey, this is cool right here. Let's check this out. Bam! Got the QR code right there. Anybody can walk up to my boat, no matter where I'm at. They can scan that QR code, and bam, it take them right to my YouTube channel. So that is a QR code actually for my YouTube channel, and it takes you right there. So, got the Instagram, Facebook, YouTube logos they added to the Wired for Crappie logo. It's pretty good. I like it. There's Wired Marine Electronics. The East Tennessee Crappie Tournament Trail. I told you I'd show you guys that logo. There it is right there. Obviously, amped outdoor lithium batteries, Crappie Cove, right? So, turned out pretty well. I like it. Check out these logos right here. Got the ACC logo, Fishing Specialty, Stowaway, Bonehead, and Tri-County Marine. So, really looking forward to sporting that one. Getting out on the water, seeing if you guys can find me now. If you can't find me now, you're blind. If you can't find old Wired, or if you don't know if it's wired or not, yeah, you're blind. All right. So really excited about that. That's really turned out great. I really like it. I hope you guys like it. You know, it turned out great. So I don't know if you guys can tell or not, but that background is actually a black and silver American flag. So we got the American flag on there. All the veterans out there, thank you for your service. As you guys know, I was in the Corps myself. So, you know, hey, had to go American flag, but kind of went incognito American flag, if you will. Didn't want to do the traditional red, white, and blue. I think the black and gray turned out really great with the boat being, you know, silver. So really excited about it. Really excited about getting that out there, running that for a couple years. We'll see how, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing how it holds up. Um, you know, I've never had a wrap on my boat before, so I kind of baby it right now. Uh, I was on a guide trip the other day, and one of the guys I was on a guide trip with stepped on it, and I thought, I wonder if that's going to hurt it. So I kind of was looking down. I was like, I don't think it hurt it. Okay, cool. So you know, I'm kind of curious to see how it holds up. For those of you who've had a wrap before, you probably could tell me a little bit about how they hold up. But yeah, I'm really excited about it. It turned out really great. I did keep the. So one thing that I did ask them to do is I asked them to keep the wrap. So the wrap on the top of the boat where it comes over the gunnel. I asked them to keep it away from the edge, or asked them if they could. I said, "Is there any way you can keep it away from the edge of the boat?" Because there's my name. Bam! Got old Matt Zenas right there. But I asked them, so like right here, I asked them to keep it away from the edge. And the reason I wanted to keep it away from the edge right there is because I put my foot on the edge of the boat. And I was afraid if I put my foot up there all the time, because I fish literally with my foot on the edge of the boat a lot because I have such a deep gunnel. It's like 10, 12 inches. So I rest my foot there a lot. And I was afraid that if I rest my foot there all the time, it would eventually peel the wrap off. So I did ask them to keep it. And they did a great job. I mean, they kept it uniform, just did a fantastic job keeping the wrap off the edge there. And they put like a edging tape around it that really trimmed it out nice. I mean, it really looks good. So anyway, there's kind of the front of the boat where it comes up, but did a really good job with it. I mean, I was really impressed. So kudos to them for doing a really good job. I was really impressed. So anyway, that's that. One other thing we're going to talk about, or I want to talk about, since Joel so gracefully mentioned it in when I started talking about Margie, he said, "I bet you still remember the date you got her." Well, he's referencing my beautiful wife, who you guys know, Miss Laura. Okay, guys, I've been so busy, and this is not an excuse. There is no excuse. Okay, I don't want to sound like I'm making an excuse, but a lot of times, okay, and this goes back to if you guys message me too. This goes all the way back to a lot of different things. But if you guys expect me to remember the date, okay, I know what day it is. Like I know it's Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Thursday, whatever day. But I probably don't know what date it is, if that makes sense to you. So I probably know that it's Thursday, but I doubt that I know it's Thursday the 12th. So with that being said, I'm a horrible husband. I'm gonna dime myself out here. I missed my wedding anniversary. How many of you guys have missed a wedding anniversary? Okay, so I'm sitting at the house last Saturday, and my wife comes in, and she had been out walking that morning, and she went and got a coffee or whatever, and she came in, and I said, "Baby," I said, "you're looking good today." I said, you're just looking good." And she said, "Yeah, I should." I thought that was a little odd, and I said, "What do you mean you should? Huh? What are you talking about?" I said, "You're gonna have to explain that a little bit, Willis." And she said, well, I should look good today. And I was like, okay. I was like, why should you look good today? And she said, well, I should look good on my anniversary. Oh, oh. And I felt about that big. Okay. Now, if you ask Miss Laura, she's probably going to say that it didn't bother me. But it did. Okay. It did bother me. I was very much bothered by it. Okay. Um, but at the same time, I couldn't change the fact that I had forgotten. And I just admitted that I had forgotten. Okay. I just told her, I said, look, I didn't forget our anniversary. I just forgot what day it was. I know our anniversary is on the 10th, but I didn't realize today was the 10th. Okay. I'm sorry. I apologize. Yeah, that doesn't necessarily make it better, guys. Okay. So for all the young gentlemen that may be watching this show, if you are recently married, please put it in your phone or phone a friend or do something so that you don't forget your anniversary. I'm sure every guy's going to say they've done it, been there, know what you're going through. It doesn't change the fact that it makes me feel about that big. Okay. I don't like missing that day because I'll be honest with you. Uh, I don't do the best job of showing my wife how much we appreciate her throughout an entire year. The things that a wife and a mother do for their family is unfathomable to me. My wife she's a stay-at-home mother, guys. I mean, you guys know that. My wife stays at home. She's blessed to stay at home, and I'm blessed for her to stay at home. It allows us and me to do what I do. But, you know, she doesn't necessarily get enough recognition for that. And that's one day that I definitely shouldn't miss. Her birthday is definitely one of them. I think, honestly, she'd rather me miss our anniversary than her birthday, to be honest. I think if I missed her birthday, I'd probably get a summons from somebody in a week or two. She'd be like, here's your paperwork, sign this, I'll see you later, bye-bye. If I missed her birthday, it'd be bad, but anniversary's still pretty bad. So I don't know if my wife's watching tonight, but if she is, I love you, babe. I'm sorry. I really am. Doesn't change the fact that I missed our anniversary, but I do feel about that big. I really do. And she's been pretty good about it. Honestly, she hasn't really beaten me up too bad. She did make a comment today. I told her I had a guide trip book. I said, hey, I got a guide trip book today. And her comment was, great. I'm sure you won't forget that date. Oh, so now that I've told on myself and begged for forgiveness and let you guys know that I am a horrible husband and was a horrible husband last Saturday. But hey, we're going to do even better next year, make it twice the anniversary next year. And then I had one of my buddies like, did you go get something? I'm like, no, I didn't go get anything. I mean, I feel like you guys tell me. I feel like, and if there's any ladies on here tonight, let me know. I feel like if you miss it, you shouldn't run out and go buy something because one, the first thing's going to be is I don't want your stuff that you didn't put any time and any thought into, right? All you did was freak out because you knew I was upset, so you ran out and just grabbed something, right? So you just chalk it up to being an idiot, and you just say I'm sorry, and you move on, and you try to smooth it over. Um, you just try to be more cognizant of what day it is. You know what I'm saying? So anyway, enough about that. We're gonna move on because, well, I'm tired of beating myself up. But I do feel, like I said, about that big. All right. So, babe, I love you. I'm sorry. I'll do whatever I have to do to make sure that don't happen again. I'm gonna write it on the wall down here in the shop, August 10th, dummy. All right. So now that I've told you guys why Joel's beating up on me, and I've showed you the boat, let's see what you guys are saying here. Joe Nash looks awesome. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Looks great. Thank you, Paul. Looks great, Matt. Thank you. Thank you. I just have to follow the air tag I put in your boat to find you. Looks great, by the way. Thanks, buddy. I appreciate it. I appreciate it. I really do like it. I really do. Good evening, Matt from Asheboro, North Carolina. Good to see you back on the tube. I hope you and your family are doing well. Yes, sir, we are. I appreciate that. Joel said, I'm guilty. Asleep. I got married on 4th of July for that very reason. So you don't forget it. That's right. Well, I picked August 10th for whatever reason. I don't know. I bet you're still in the doghouse. I am. Like I said, I messaged her today and said, hey, just had a guide trip booked for the 24th of August. Just letting you know. And her reply was, like I said, her reply was, great. I'm sure you won't forget that date, or you won't miss that date, or something along those lines. I don't remember the exact wording, but it was along the lines of, I'm sure you won't forget that date. I'm like, okay. I deserved that one. I did. I really did. I deserved that one. Slab Happy Lures, what's going on, man? We're in the house. What's going on, Perry? Hope you're doing well. I missed my wife's birthday 10 years, still in the basement. I hear you. Still in the basement. Sweet boat. Thank you, buddy. I appreciate it. Yeah, it turned out great. It really did. The wrap turned out so well. Like I said, so happy to have it, and they did a great job with it. They really did. Let's see here. I got married on 4th of July too. Another 4th of July. Mine is on Halloween. How did you forget it on Halloween? I mean, on August 10th, I can see missing that. But I mean, come on, these specific dates. I can't believe you, Joel. I can't believe you got married during deer season, son. What is going on? That's crazy. All right, before my phone goes dead, because we got 11%. We're good. All right, so let's talk about one other thing that has really changed the way I fish this year. Changed, I guess my mindset has changed as a father, as a husband, as an outdoorsman, as, a fisherman, as, a lot of different things, okay? So I've had a lot of friends as I get older, and as they get older, I've had a lot of guys that I know that have had, different types of skin cancer and all these different things taken off of them. And then I had a good friend of mine that was diagnosed with cancer that had spread, that really just was nasty. It was just nasty, man. It really was. And it all started with skin cancer. Okay. So it's kind of changed the way I fish in the summer, and kind of changed the way I think about putting my body out there in that environment for a long period of time. Okay. So the ACC summer sun shirts are awesome. I mean, this thing is the cat's meow when it comes to summer shirts. I've worn some summer sun shirts before, and I never did like them because I always felt like they were extremely hot. It almost made me feel like it kept heat in. These are very, very breathable. I tried them this year and absolutely fell in love with them. Okay. I typically always would wear a face shield over I'd put a hat on, and then I'd put a face shield over my hat, and I'd pull that face shield up so that it kept the sun off my ears and off my face and my neck. I started noticing on my arms some areas that I was getting some white freckles. I don't know if you guys can see, like right there, and it's raised. It's like a raised white freckle. Somebody's on here is going to be like, you need to go see the doctor. Anyway, I started getting some spots on my arms that didn't look so promising. See that white dot right there? Right there. And it's raised. It's like a raised white dot. Anyway, started getting a lot of those little white dots. And I don't know if that's anything or not. But anyway, long story short, I decided to start covering up. Okay. Better safe than sorry. I felt like if I could protect my body a little bit, my skin is getting older, right? My skin's getting old. I'm getting old. So I felt the need to try to take care of myself a little bit better. Tried these sun shirts. Again, this is the ACC version of their sun shirt, and they are absolutely breathable. They don't hold heat in. They're really nice. Really, they're soft. I mean, against your skin. And I just want to rub myself. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I'm not going to get too far deep into it tonight because, you know, this could get not a family show. You know what I'm saying? But they feel great on you. And the one thing that I like probably the most about them is this hood. They've got a hood on them. So I don't have to take my face mask anymore, my face shield. The hood pretty much between my hat and the hood, it pretty much keeps all the sun off my neck and my ears and the side of my face. I mean, the hood comes all the way around. So, you know, you can take this hood and put it all the way up and it comes around very well. So I've very much enjoyed fishing out of them. I've got about 4 or 5 of them now. Just because I'm trying to protect my skin, right? And if you guys want to listen, don't want to listen, want to follow suit, you know, protecting yourself on the water probably isn't the worst thing in the world. You know, for years and years, you always heard sunscreen, don't put sunscreen on. Sunscreen, the fish, you know, if you get sunscreen on your lure, the fish won't bite it. That's crap. Don't believe that. If you believe that, go watch my video. I smeared copper tone sunblock all over a dang hair jig and threw it out there and caught, I don't know how many crappie I caught off of it, but I caught a bunch. With copper tone sunscreen, 50 SPF, right there in the fibers of the hair jig, and I'm catching fish with it. So it was a chartreuse hair jig, and it was so much copper tone on it, it was white. It was like a white hair jig. So don't listen to the hype, guys. Protect yourself when you're on the water. Grab yourself some sun shirts from ACC. They're great. They're breathable. They're lightweight. You know, just protect yourself on the water. It doesn't have to be an ACC sun shirt. Just wear something, and you know, keep your skin protected. It will it'll benefit you in the long run. You know, you don't want your wife to be looking at an old prune when you get older, right? So you want to protect your skin. It's all you got, you know. So try to protect yourself on the water. They don't look as good on us short, fat, old guys. Come on now. Don't matter what you look like. It's about protecting yourself. So I hadn't made it as far as getting gloves yet. If you guys have any ideas as far as gloves are concerned, I do want to get, you know, I think they've got what are they? The something monkey, some kind of monkey glove or something like that. I've seen those out there that a lot of people wear. But anyway, I got stuff popping up. Hang on. But I'll probably end up getting some gloves for the summer as well, just to keep the sun off of me in the summer. Stuart Ferris, good evening. I go to the dermatologist regularly, and I always wear long sleeves, hooded shirts with a neck gaiter and a pair of gloves. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't hurt. The best thing about this sun shirt, okay, the absolute best thing about it is I can literally take a handful of water out of the lake and throw it on my shoulder, throw it on this shoulder, and wet this shirt, and it's like an air conditioner. Every time a little breeze blows, it's like an air conditioner. And, I mean, it literally is just I mean, when the wind blows, it literally feels like it's 10 degrees cooler. And, you know, you could wet this entire shirt. You could take this shirt off and dunk it in the lake, put it on, and within 30 to 45 minutes, it'd be dry. I mean, it dries extremely quickly. You don't have to worry about taking a bunch of shirts with you. You get too hot and throw water on it, and, you know, it'll dry right off before you have to get back in your truck. So that's the cool thing for me. I hate getting my truck wet. I absolutely hate it. I hate getting my seats wet. Fish monkey. There you go. Yeah, fish monkey gloves. What you think about the new forward-facing sonar rule in bass fishing? Oh, well, okay. I wear the fish monkey gloves. I love them or like them. All right. What do you think about the forward-facing sonar rule in bass fishing? So if you hadn't heard about it, there is a supposed rule change for 2025 MLF where the guys can only use forward-facing sonar for one period, okay? There's 3 periods a day. They're only going to allow them to use it for one period. Now, I don't know as far as is that one period of their choice, or is that the first period and then that's it, or is it the last period, or I don't know. I guess all the parameters around it, but I know that, so it's been said that they will only be able to use forward-facing sonar for one period. All right, so my thoughts on that. Oh man, that's a good question. That's loaded. I like the idea. I'm torn. I really am. Um, I like that they're trying to keep that older generation involved in fishing. I like that they're trying to keep, because let's face it, that older generation, they don't want to sit there and watch a kid stand up there and stare at a screen to catch a bass. They want to watch guys pitching a jig, talking to the camera, involving the viewer with what they're doing. Okay, if they're I roll over here and get a drink. If they're if they're throwing a swim bait or throwing a minnow bait and they're staring at their screen the whole time, it doesn't make for great TV, right? It doesn't make for great viewership, especially from that older crowd. Because that older crowd, they flipped. I mean, have you ever seen? When's the last time you saw somebody in MLF flipping? I bet it's been a while. You know what I'm saying? So I like that they're switching it up. Okay, I really do, and I think it's going to help. But I also think it might hurt them too. There's a lot of the younger generation that has come to fishing because of forward-facing sonar. Crappie fishing has had a huge increase of people and involvement because of forward-facing sonar. I've been doing crappie fishing. I've been holding tournaments, hosting events. Started East Tennessee Crappie Club, which is now East Tennessee Crappie Tournament Trail, which East Tennessee Crappie Club you're going to hear less and less. But East Tennessee Crappie Tournament Trail started in 2014. Okay, 2014, guys. That was way before Live Scope. All right, so to see the amount of anglers that Live Scope has brought to the crappie industry, okay, being involved in the crappie industry, which I am, with all these different sponsors and all this different stuff, and talking to people and shows and just my involvement with the business has really shown me how much crappie fishing has grown because of forward-facing sonar. And it's great. It really is. I mean, we used to, so it's funny, my ears popping. It's funny, I used to sit around with guys in the club and say, look, how do we grow? What do we need to do to grow? We're not growing at the rate that I want to grow at. I wanted to grow like this. We're growing like this. How do we grow? And I used to tell people all the time, because when I started the club and started fishing tournaments, I was 27. I was 27 years old. And I was the youngest guy there by 15 years. So it was, my thing was, how do we get more of the younger generation involved in crappie fishing? Back then you couldn't. It wasn't high enough paced. Crappie fishing was the old man's game. It was the slow down. That's what you do when you slow down from fishing. That's what it used to be. You guys know this. I'm not telling y'all anything new. It was what you did when you slowed down from bass fishing. That's where you went. We would get the guys that said, hey, I bass fished for 30 years. I'm tired of it. I'm ready to slow down, but I still like to have that little bit of competitiveness and like to have a group of guys I can talk to and hang out with. And this is where I want to be. This is East Tennessee Crappie Club. This is it. This is the stuff. This is cool. Well, I always used to ask, how can we get them involved? How can we get more younger guys involved? Well, guess what? I didn't have to wait long. All of a sudden, LiveScope comes around. Here we are. We've got more young guys now than we've got of that older generation. I think as far as original members, there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 5 original members still left, myself included. But we've grown to twice the size that we were. So, you know, the membership as a whole has grown twofold, and it's a lot of young guys. There's a lot of young fishermen, which is great to see. But I do say it would be great to see, you know, the MLF allow forward-facing sonar for a time and then non-forward-facing sonar. I think it's going to show you guys a lot. I think a lot of people are going to see. I think it's going to bring some of those guys that have the skill set back into the fold. Because, and look, I'm not trying to say guys that do use forward-facing sonar don't have skills, but if you take forward-facing sonar away from the guys that grew up with forward-facing sonar, and you take forward-facing sonar away from the guys that grew up without it, who's going to win? Think about that. Who's going to win? Because a lot of these younger generational guys have never fished with anything but forward-facing sonar. They never learned how to flip and pitch and how to locate fish and how to, you know, without, you know, looking at the screen and saying there's a fish. You know, how to go about breaking down an area, fan casting, and hitting those points that you need to hit, making those casts in the direction, in the way, in the manner that you need to make those casts in. So, you know, I think it's going to be cool. I think it's going to be cool to see. I do think that there'll be a little bit of controversy over it. I think, you know, some of the younger guys will be a little upset. Some of the older guys, you know, they're going to be excited. But all in all, I think it's going to be a win. I think, you know, you got to roll with the punches. If you're a tournament angler, you got to roll with the punches. That's just the way it is. I think it'll even out the playing field for the ones that don't know forward-facing sonar as well and don't want to spend time to learn it. Well, I would agree with that, but I also think it's going to take those guys that again are here with forward-facing sonar that never learned to fish another way. Okay, and then you got the guys that are here that they're in the middle, right? This is on the top, this is middle, and this is the low. You got those guys that learned how to fish without forward-facing sonar. Okay, they're right here. These are the older guys. Then you got the younger guys that come in with forward-facing sonar and are just whacking them. All right, you take that forward-facing sonar away, and you're not going to do this. I don't think you're going to do that. I think the guys that only learn forward-facing sonar, and that's the only way they know how to fish, I think it's going to make them do this. And these guys that learned how to fish old school, like old Matt Zenas, old school, you know, I think they're going to stay on the same level they've been on. But these guys that are up here with forward-facing sonar and don't know how to fish another way are going here. I mean, that's it. That's what I think is going to happen. I could be wrong. We'll see. But I've also talked to a lot of high school bass anglers, a lot of guys that have kids in high school that, you know, are fishing on the high school bass circuit. And I can remember one story. I'm not going to name names, but I can remember one story where I talked to a gentleman whose son I've watched grow up. I've watched him fish since he was 6. And I mean, the kid could go shoot docks like a master at 7, 8 years old, driving the boat by himself like it was nothing. I mean, this kid can fish. And he tells me a story about him going to Hartwell, and they go out the first day on Hartwell, and the I think it was a national championship, I think. And he goes out the first day, and his active target quit working. He caught one scoreable fish, one keeper fish all day. And I'm like, no way, not him, no way. He said he couldn't go back old school. He said he couldn't. He could not go back. I told him, let's go pitch docks. Let's go flip docks. No, he couldn't do it. He just, it's like it just left. It's like his brain just forgot how to do it. He said, we fished offshore in Watts Bar for his entire life, fishing offshore, casting points, casting stump beds, casting, he said he knows how to do it. But I tried to calm him down because he was all flustered about his forward-facing sonar work not working. Couldn't calm him down enough for him to even remember how to fish without it. He said he couldn't. He caught one fish. One. And I would have never imagined that. So I've heard the stories about it. I've heard the horror stories about it. And, I hate it for our youth a lot because, our youth are losing so much. They're losing with forward-facing sonar. They're losing so much. They're losing the technique. They're losing the skill set. They're losing you got to be able to go out there and compete. And if you're fishing a tournament, and you got to be able to do it whether your live scope works or not. You got to learn these different ways. You got to learn how to catch fish without that screen sitting up front. Joel calls me old school. I'll tell you why he calls me old school. He calls me old school because I pulled planer boards in one tournament, won it, never turned a graph on my boat on ever this past season. Went down to Telco, pulled planer boards, won the event, won the tournament not won it by a little bit, won it by a lot of bit. I think I won by like a pound and a half. Wasn't it, Joel? Pound and a half, maybe 2 pounds. I don't remember what it was. I won the tournament by a good margin. And then I was going to go fish. I was going to go pull boards on Douglas until I got up there and saw all the fish that were just spinning out in open water that, you really had to catch with live scope. There's no other way to really catch them. But I told him I was going old school and switched it up with live scope at tournament. But anyway, he calls me old school now because I'm an old school guy. I like to fish old school. I like to fish different ways, but I can. And if that thing up there craps out, I'm going fishing. We're gonna go catch fish. We're gonna put fish in the boat. That's what we do. So I hate to hear that our youth, really, honestly, live scope is a great tool, but it's a handicap as well. It's handicapping our youth anglers to the point where if they don't have it, they don't fish well. You know what I'm saying? So it really is. It can be a crutch. It can be a crutch. And I'm going to enjoy over the season seeing how big of a crutch it is for some of those professional bass anglers, some of those young guys on the professional bass tours. I'm going to enjoy seeing if it's a crutch for them, and I'm going to enjoy seeing if they struggle without it. I am excited to see that. I really am. Uh, Hey, there we are. We're back. I'm back. I'm back. My phone did die, but I'm back. All right. So, um, again, I'm excited to see just how big of a potential crutch or potential um, uh, handicap that it gives these anglers. Um, it'll be fun to see. It'll be fun to watch. So I think it'll make for interesting TV. Let's say that. Um, it will handicap all of us, or at least me. It would. It would. It's going to change the way people fish for sure. It's the top pro class in the world. Should not have to hold them back to even the playing field. They don't have to use it. Well, that's right. But the thing about it is you know, if you take a guy, look at it this way, Jimmy. If you take an angler and you tell him go fish this lake, go right over here and go fish this lake, okay? And there's bass or crappie. Let's keep it on crappie. There's crappie on that lake somewhere somewhere right here in this area, okay? This area right here has crappie in it. Go catch them. He's gonna go catch them. Might take him a while. May have to figure out a few things before he does. May have to make a bunch of casts before he catches one. But eventually he'll find a fish and he'll catch it. Okay. You take a guy and you say, hey, there's crappie right here. By the way, here's your live scope pole. And he shines that live scope pole within an instant. He knows where the fish are. Okay. I don't care who you are, what your name is, or where you come from, or how long you've been fishing. I'm here to tell you right now, a live scope is going to put me on that fish faster, put that fish in the boat faster, and I'm going to be able to pick out which ones are the biggest ones and put those fish in the boat where that guy that doesn't have it isn't going to be able to do it. It is not an equal playing field if you do not have live scope. I don't care what anybody says. If you don't have live scope, it's not an equal playing field. Now, have I went out and won tournaments without live scope? Absolutely, I have 110%, and probably will again at some point because I'm going to fish without live scope when the fish set up for it. But 99% of the time, you're at a disadvantage if you don't have live scope, period. Nobody will ever convince me different of that. I, hate to say that. I hate to admit that. If I have to be one of the only ones to admit that, that's fine with me. I don't mind. I'll be the odd man out, but I'm here to tell you it does not. You cannot consistently compete tournament after tournament or event after event without it. Okay. And I want to take it out. I want to take it away from. I want to take it away from tournament fishing because not everybody tournament fishes. So let me take it away from tournament fishing in a minute. You cannot, or well, you can, but you most likely will not affect the crappie population as bad without it. You're going to go catch fish, but most likely, anglers without live scope per capita are not going to put as many fish in the boat as anglers with live scope per capita. Okay, I believe that too. Because I mean, when you can go out there and you can see them and you can put them in the boat, first of all, not all of us have all day to fish. Sometimes you guys only have 3 or 4 hours. I went to the lake the other day and had an hour to fish and went for an hour because I just want to go lake. So, an hour with live scope, I put 15 fish in the boat. An hour without it, I probably wouldn't have. I would have caught fish, but I don't know if I would have put 15 in the boat. So, you see what I'm saying? I mean, now, and somebody's going to say, yeah, but the limit's 15 a day. It doesn't matter. Yes, it does. Because if you only have 3 hours to fish and you go out there with your live scope and it takes you 2 hours to catch 15 keepers, the guy that's in the boat beside you that only had 3 hours to fish that doesn't have live scope, there's no guarantee for him he's putting 15 in the boat. And honestly, again, fish per, you want to look at it, fish per hour, fish per minute, fish per day, fish per whatever. I'm sorry, but the guy with live scope is probably going to catch more fish. I'm sorry. I hate to say it that way. And I ain't trying to be a Debbie Downer. I love my live scope. Don't get me wrong. I love my live scope. And I'm going to keep using live scope. And I'm going to keep fishing with live scope. But it's time that we be honest with everybody and be honest with ourselves about the effects that live scope's having on our crappie population too. It's affecting the crappie population. Yeah, you can only keep 15 per person, but guess what? There's 375,000 more people or more per persons than there was before live scope. And it is going to affect our population at some point. It might not affect the amount of fish that are in the lake, but it's going to affect the size of those fish in the lake. And it's going to have an effect on fish at some point. That's just my opinion. It thinks Hummingbird is pushing pushing back on the new rules. Yeah, I'd say they probably are. I mean, look at it; it's about the money, man. I'd say the Hummingbird, Lowrance, Garmin. I'd say they probably are pushing back on it, saying, "Hey, look, our business is electronics, and you're telling people they can't use specific electronics specific times. I mean, you're going to hurt our business." I guarantee they're pushing back on it. I almost guarantee they're probably having phone calls daily about it, would be my guess. So, let's see. Plug it in at home or set it on a power pad. Yeah, I need to. I didn't realize my phone was so low. I thought I charged it up, but I didn't. All right. The man with live scope will win more money. Yeah, they will. They will. I bought a new boat back in March and put Garmin electronics on it. And yes, I bought live scope. Learned how to use it and have found fish, but that doesn't mean they're going to bite. Yeah, Stuart, that's everybody's go-to. That's like the go-to phrase. Okay. Um, and you're right. It doesn't mean they're going to bite. 100% it doesn't. But you're going to catch more that will bite than the guy that doesn't have live scope. Okay. It's just, I mean, not to sound rude here, please don't take me the wrong way, but I'm so sick of hearing doesn't mean they won't bite. Because look, if I go over, picture this, I go over a brush pile with my side imaging, okay, and I see fish on the brush pile with my side imaging or down imaging, and I throw a buoy out, and I don't have live scope, and I stop and I go to fish, okay. Um, it's going to take me longer to figure out those fish won't bite than it's going to take you with live scope to figure out those fish won't bite. You can make 3 casts to those fish because you're casting directly on that fish. I'm casting where that fish is, and they're not moving and they're not biting. I'm going to the next pile. See you bite, and you're going to go find more fish. But if I'm sitting there without live scope, I'm going to cast out there, didn't get a bite. Okay. I'm going to cast there, didn't get a bite. I'm going to cast there, didn't get a bite. I'm going to cast there, didn't get a bite. Okay. I'm going to cast there, didn't get a bite. 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 Well, where's that brush pile at? I still hadn't hung it. So then I'm going to throw out there and I'm going to let my jig go all the way to the bottom and I'm going to start looking for the brush pile. Oh, I got hung. Well, there's the brush pile. Okay. So cast back out there, count it down to 12, start reeling, didn't get a bite. I'm going to spend 3 times or 4 times longer on every brush pile trying to figure out if I'm even on the brush pile, if I'm even casting over the brush pile, before I realize that those fish just aren't going to bite. Where you pull up live scope, you throw out there 3 times, those fish don't ever move off the brush pile, and you go, those fish aren't going to bite. Boom, and you're off to the next one. You're out there catching fish off the next brush pile when I'm still trying to see if I can even find the one that I saw on my down imaging. You see what I'm saying? So I didn't want to sound. I'm not trying to sound mean. I promise I'm not. But I hear that. You hear that so much. Look, I'm not a live scope basher. I'm not. I mean, I have live scope. I love live scope, and I'll fish with live scope as long as it's available to fish with. I will. I'm gonna have it on my boat. I love it. But it's everybody's go-to response is doesn't mean they won't bite. No, it doesn't. But Jesus, can somebody please admit that everything about crappie fishing and everything about live scope is to put more fish in your boat. You're going to put more fish in your boat regardless, period. Because, again, you pull up to a brush pile, just that very scenario. You pull up there, you throw 3 times, you know those fish won't bite, you're gone. I throw 33 times and spend 3 hours on a brush pile. Well, not 3 hours, but you'll spend 45 minutes to an hour on one brush pile without live scope trying to figure out. I know I saw those fish on my down imaging. You'll even crank up and go back around and look at that brush pile again. There's fish there. You'll keep casting to it. It's different. It's different. Everything about it is different. Okay. So, again, um, it's going to affect our population at some point, whether they believe it or not. It will. There's more crappie anglers than there was, by far, many more, because live scope has opened up a completely different way to fish, and it's made them more successful, which is more fun. So there's way more crappie fishermen than there used to be. There is more fish being caught per trip, and there is more fish going home than there used to be. That's going to affect it. Now, is it going to make it worse? Who knows? Is it going to make it better? Maybe. Some lakes, there needs to be some fish taken out. Maybe they'll get bigger, more to eat, more food to spread around. You may end up with bigger fish on some lakes. Maybe good, maybe a good thing. Some lakes, it may get to the point where you can't go catch crappie anymore. You know what I'm saying? So we're just going to have to wait and see. I'm not sitting here screaming that it's the worst thing in the world. Trust me, it's not. I don't believe that. But I do believe it is different. Okay. And, I love seeing, like I said, doesn't mean they won't bite. Golly, can we get off that for 1 second, please? And just admit that it is different. It does make you more successful. It does put more fish in your boat. And it is going to affect things at some point. But that's what it was designed to do. That's what it was made for. So, anyway, and that's the beauty of it, is it puts more fish in your boat, makes you a catcher, not a fisher, and it's fun, So, hey, let's own that stuff. You know what I'm saying? Own it. Then those fish turn out to be white bass. Yeah, been there. When rangefinders came out, it started a similar heated debate in target archery. Yeah, I mean, there's always advancements in technology, and there's always heated debates, and there's always people that go back and forth and around about him. And there's no right way, there's no wrong way, there's no right mindset, wrong mindset. That's not what it is. But we all have to. I feel like we all have to be honest with ourselves. And you see all this stuff out there about hating live scopers and hating non-live scopers and hating this and hating that. There's too much hate and there's too much discord. I mean, it's, we're all crappie anglers, and we're all out there to do what we love, and that's fish and catch crappie. So, I don't, again, I look at it from both perspectives. I look at it both ways, and I try to keep a level mindset about it. And, I think that it's a great tool. It's a great thing to have. It's very much fun. Okay, it is fun. It's fun to watch those fish chase a jig and hammer down on it. So, it's fun, and I enjoy doing it, and I will enjoy doing it, and I'll keep enjoying doing it. But we also have to be cognizant of our resources and cognizant of the resource that we have available to us, and make sure that we don't tear it down too much with the amount of fishermen and the amount of pressure that the fish have had. I think everybody that fishes regularly will agree with you that there's definitely a pressure change that's happening with the fish. Some of these pressured fish that used to be able to catch a lot of fish on brush in certain lakes, you can't anymore because the in my opinion, a lot of the brush piles and a lot of the structures that are pretty easy to find now are fished out a lot, and just hold fish, but mostly smaller fish, and they don't have time to replenish like they used to. Used to there'd be a week or two that they didn't get hit, and then you go by there and fish one, or somebody to go by and fish one, they'd catch 15 or 20 fish off of it because they'd replenish. And a lot of them are getting hit daily now because a lot of those structures are easy to find, and especially with live scope. So, there's been changes, and they're not all bad. Some of them are good. Like I said, you get to go have fun, catch more fish. So, but yeah, there's a lot of hate out there going on, and I hate to see that. I wish that would change. I wish that everybody could have an honest discussion about it, and speak their mind, speak their piece, speak what they feel, and at the end of the day, it's man, I appreciate your input, I appreciate your insight, and you know, you had some good points, I had some good points. We can agree to disagree and have fun fishing. Hey, let's go fishing next week. You want to go Saturday? But unfortunately, it's not always like that. So anyway, I don't know, but yeah, a lot of things changing, a lot of things going on, a lot of good things to come too. So, I can't wait to see what's next. I mean, what's next after live scope? I mean, there's gonna be something. Something's gonna come next. Do you cast a few times and then move on, or do you change jigs? I move on. Active fish are going to bite, especially once you've got a color. I mean, if you're catching them on black and chartreuse and you go to a brush pile and they won't hit black and chartreuse, I'm not going to waste time on it. I'm going to go find another brush pile. I've always told everybody on this channel, if you're not on active fish, leave. Go find active fish. Active fish is what you're looking for. Fish that are going to eat, fish that are going to bite. If they don't eat, they don't bite, move on. With there being more crappie fishermen now, do you believe that wildlife resource agencies should focus more on stocking a lot more of our lakes? Alex, that's a good question. Thank you for that. I think, stocking isn't necessarily the answer. I don't believe. Our lakes here in East Tennessee, um, you're going to have natural spawn on our lakes a lot of times. Some of them, um, in some years, TVA will mess up spawns potentially, but fish don't all spawn at the same time. So you're gonna have groups of fish in every lake that do have a successful spawn, and groups of fish that don't successfully spawn. Um, and I think if they would just manage the fishery, the fisheries that we have, I think if they would manage those correctly, I think unfortunately our wildlife, how do I say this without bashing Wildlife Resource Agency? I'm not trying to do that. But I think, unfortunately, what happens is our lakes get broad brushed. I mean, the entire state of Tennessee, for the most part, except for, I think, Reelfoot, has the same limit on crappie. And I think there's a couple other lakes. Norris doesn't have the same limit, but there's a couple lakes that don't have the same limit. But for the most part, we've broad brushed all of our lakes in East Tennessee to have a 10-inch minimum with 15 fish per day. I don't necessarily think that's the right approach, especially now with live scope. I don't think that's the right approach. I think the right approach is to put your time in, do your job that you get paid to do, and research each lake independently to figure out what that lake needs, that body of water needs. Does that body of water need to have a higher creel limit so that some of those smaller fish get taken out, so that there's not as much competition for bait, so that some of those fish can grow and get larger, so that you get more fish to that 10-inch? Here's the thing. If you're overpopulated, it takes longer for those fish to get to 10 inches because there's not as much there's not as much resource as far as the food is concerned for the fish. So it takes them longer to get to 10 inches. Okay. So taking some of those fish out might not hurt that lake. It might actually benefit that lake. Those fish get to 10 inches quicker. They actually grow beyond 10 inches faster, get bigger fish, more fillet. Win-win. Um, and then there's some lakes in East Tennessee that I think probably could benefit from, a reduction in creel limit. Don't take as many fish out of some of these lakes. There's plenty of bait, plenty of fish. A good number of fish with plenty of bait fish to spread around. with fish that'll just get gigantic. There's good bloodlines in some of our lakes. There's good, um, you know, there's good size in some of our lakes, and I feel like, they would benefit from maybe a slot limit, if you would. Maybe, hey, anything from 12 to or anything from 9 to 12 you can keep. If it's smaller 9, throw it back. If it's over 12, you have to throw it back. There's some of our lakes that would oh yeah, Slab Happy said it, with a slot of just 10 to 12-inch fish. So, you know, again, I feel like our wildlife resource should probably do a little bit better job at identifying each individual body of water's needs. We don't necessarily, I feel like we don't do that, because we just broad brush our creel limits. So anyway, that's all I'm going to say about that. I'm not saying they don't do their job. I'm just saying it feels like we broad brush it too much. I think it would be nice to have some data from some of these lakes individually, and it'd be nice if they would share that with us, to where they would say, hey, here's what we're going to do. Here's what we did, what we said we were going to do. Here's what we found, and here's what our recommendations are. And this is the process we're going to take. I mean, anglers, look, if you took the slot limit or the daily creel limit from 15 right now and made it 8, every angler in East Tennessee or in Tennessee would be absolutely irate. They'd be like, what? Are you kidding me? I buy a license and I can only keep. Bear with me. If you did a study, told them you were going to do it, did it, released the results, said, here's what we see, here's what we're seeing, this is what we're going to do, this is why we're going to do it. We're trying to get, we're gonna put a slot limit in place because we see that these fish will get irregularly large. Once they get large, that's our breeders. Those fish put out more fry that have a better survival rate. So we're going to let those fish breed. We're going to keep them in the lake. We're going to give you 9 to 12-inch fish. We're going to let you take, for the first 3 years, we're going to let you take out anything under 12 inches because we need to take some fish out of the lake. There's too many in it. I mean, if they would break that down by body of water and then change creel limits and adjust things and let people know that they're working, they're doing their due diligence, and they're figuring this stuff out, and they're putting in the time. Ain't nobody gonna be upset about that. I wouldn't be upset about that. Would you guys be upset about that? I mean, drop it in the comments. Would you guys be upset if they did a 6-month, just deep dive into a body of water called Watts Bar, and they come back and they said, man, this lake's got trophy potential, right? It's got a decent number of fish in it. We don't feel that we need to do much to the lake other than we would like to protect our breeders. So we're going to say anything from 10 to 12 you can take home. You can still keep 15 a day, but they have to be between 10 and 12. And we're going to protect our young fish, and we're going to protect our breeding fish, and we're going to leave that thing alone. Let it just go to it. I can't imagine that anybody would get upset if they honestly knew that they were doing what they could to provide or to protect our resource. You know what I'm saying? And if they came back and said, hey, we got to watch ourselves because we're taking too many out of there. We need to only take 10 a day instead of 15 a day. If you had that data and you saw it and it was real and you knew it, I wouldn't be upset about it. You know what I mean? So I don't know. But I'm not a fish biologist either. And I'm not a TWRA officer. So, kudos to those guys. I know a lot of them. And I'm friends with a lot of them, actually, over the years, doing stuff with the club and doing stuff with, we at one point, we had them come out and do surveys of our fish. They came out and did fin clips and all kinds of other stuff from our fish. But, it would be nice to see a little bit more widespread effort to try to figure out each body of water individually. That's all I'm saying. So, they seem to focus a lot more on West Tennessee, unlike East Tennessee. Well, Yeah. Um, it's just like anywhere else. It's like Chickamauga in East Tennessee for bass. I mean, they seem to focus on chick more for bass than they do anywhere else, but that's because chick is set up. It's about the money again, right? It's about the money. So chick is set up to be a big bass lake. So they, they can bring revenue through multiple cities on Chickamauga. Um, and it's set up, designed to be a bass lake, a big bass lake. So again, I don't know. It's unfortunate for some, and it's fortunate for some. So, it is what it is. I'm all for it. You don't have to be a biologist when you fish like we do and see all parts of the lakes. That's true. Much as we fish, we can probably tell them something or another. Don't know if it'd be right, but hey, we can tell them something. We have some Illinois lakes that have 10 over 10 and 5 under. Yeah, I mean, look, I don't think anybody's going to be upset if they do their research, they've got the method for the madness, and they say this is what we need to do to better our lake for the anglers, and that's going to better this way. It's going to better the reservoir this way, this way, this way, and this way. The only thing it's going to hurt is you can only take home 10 and not 15. But these are the four things that it's going to benefit you 2 years from now, 3 years from now, 4 years from now. This is what's going to do. It's going to do for you. All for it. Let's roll. Let's go. I'm ready. Change whatever you want to change. I don't care. Just give me the data behind it. Right. So anyway, all right. Been on for an hour and 26. Went a little long, but that's because we hadn't been on in a while. Had a lot of stuff to talk about. Right. Hope. I don't know if we talked about it last time. Let me unplug here. Hopefully we won't die. Nah, we're good. We got 30%. We're good. We're back on up there. All right. I don't know if we talked about it last time or not. I can't remember what we talked about last time we did a live. I need to go back and watch it, I guess. Let's see. 23-24. Where's 23-24? I think it's right here. Bam! 23-24 Angler of the Year, East Tennessee Crappie Club. Don't know if we talked about that last time. Pretty proud of that one. Got to add that one to the wall over there. So pretty excited about that. Long, hard year. Very long, hard year. Won a few, got spanked in a few, but ended up pulling out the Angler of the Year win at the end. So I was excited about that. Pretty stoked about it, to be honest with you. It takes a lot. It takes a lot to win an Angler of the Year, especially here in East Tennessee with the anglers that we've got. It's tough. It is very tough, mentally, physically, financially. It is tough. A lot of hours on the lake, a lot of time spent. You got to go find the bigger fish, not just the fish. You got to find, what area of the lake, what type of structure in that lake, in that area. What are the bigger fish holding to, right? So it's a completely different mindset when you're trying to catch bigger fish than you are just go catch fish. And a lot of time spent on that. And pretty proud to say that was able to win an Angler of the Year event or trophy plaque, I guess, if you will. So anyway, I think that's all we got tonight. I appreciate you guys as always. God bless. Catch us next week, same time, same place, down here in the shop with me. 9:00 on Wednesday nights. We're gonna get back to it. Missed you guys. I'm glad we're back. All right. Got a video that we're editing. Brantley and I, we went and did some bluegill fishing. That's going to be the next one that comes out. So we went and caught some big ones, some big old bluegills, and get that out for you guys so you can see it. So watch out for that. Watch out for that on YouTube. And then got some more crappie videos coming too. So excited about it. Thank you guys for watching again. Have a great week. Blessed. We will see you next week, and I appreciate you guys, everything that you guys do for the channel. We'll catch you on the next one.